joy, and I woke up to the whispering bells and the worried voices of my parents and doctors. From the small lamp in my mother's room, I checked my watch, I checked the calendar, and oops, I was late for my first appointment to meet the world. I was expected to step into the world at around 8 o'clock, but by the time I got ready and came out, it was way beyond 8 o'clock. I was born on 3rd Feb 1989. Now, being lazy has many disadvantages. The main reason is, me being late. I was supposed to be born on 2nd Feb, but I was late, so I was born on 3rd Feb. And now I have to celebrate my birthday with Talula, Bele, Belize, and some Rajan whose name I can't even pronounce, instead of celebrating it with Ayn Rand and Shakira. And it also makes me older, or is it younger? I am confused. Confusion is the word which fully describes me. Now I know it is pretty confusing to describe yourself as a confused person, but you see, confusion is the only thing in me that I can talk without getting confused. My mom was well aware of my confusion and the ways that it leads me into. But when things started getting out of control, she thought that she should take matters in her hands. I was always a tomboy, and she thought that has to be changed, and changed pretty soon. She came from a family of singers and was a pretty good singer herself, and a good singer in fact. And as you would expect, my singing classes started at home. I was very rudely woken at 4 o'clock in the morning for months together, and I had to scream, screech, shout my lungs out, which resulted in disturbing the whole neighborhood, and complaints did pour in. But after a couple of months of this horrendous practice, my mother came to know that the best in terms of singing that I could do was in the bathroom. But being the lady that she is, she would never give up. So she jumped into the next part of her project of making me the perfect bride, or whatever she had in mind. So she thought, if not a good singer, then at least a good cook. So well, she started her preparations, but when more number of crockery started piling up in the dustbin than on the dining table, people learned our lessons. She learned that I could never be the homely girly girl that she wanted me to be, and I learned to stay away from the kitchen for both of our good. In school, and the story didn't end there. Mom was a teacher in the same school that I studied. I studied in Achyuta public school in a town called Achyuta. And since mom was a teacher, it was pretty difficult. Very, very I was expected to get good grades. I couldn't cheat. I was supposed to come to school 365 days, even on Sundays, for tuitions and stuff like that. I can't take leave saying that I have a headache in my tummy. And the worst thing is, your mother gets to know all the things that you have done in school. If I have at least been a teacher, she gets to know about it, and I get a very good feedback at home. And to add salt to my already sour wounds, my brother, he would always display his very good grades. He was a state rank material. So as expected, I barely managed to pass through my board exams. And right after I passed my board exams, with the desire to earn my own money and relish what freedom would be like, I started working. I worked in Vijayawada for a company called Frisco's for around 6 months, and then I moved to Visakhapatnam and worked for Vodafone. Before I decided that enough was enough, had enough of globetrotting, I had to come back home. So I decided to settle in Hyderabad for a couple of years. And now I work in Cycle. My job basically involves helping customers who don't know why they use internet, but they still do. And I have to help them because obviously they pay for it. But learning wasn't all fun as I expected it to be. It teaches you mentioned earlier was not particularly my best thing. It's not my cup of coffee. I like coffee better. But you see, it was very difficult to get accepted and accept people at the beginning. But then again, everybody is not your best friend, so that's the lesson I learned. I would conclude by saying that I've become quite an expert at being confused at any given point of time. But that's not such a bad thing. Somebody described an expert as a person who can tell you the simplest of things in such a confused fashion as to make you think that the confusion is your fault. That was